In today's video, we're going to be taking a look here at these current conditions, and we're going to dive into a very interesting upcoming pattern. For cold and snow lovers, there is a lot of good news in the upcoming pattern, all the way from now through later into November, all the way into the very beginning of December. Things are looking very, very favorable for cold and snowy weather. We will take a look at that in just a little bit. Taking a look here at our current conditions, first things first, though, we do see that there is some northerly winds heading in from the north here for the western United States and western Canada as well. The winds are probably following these lines is typically what's happening. So we are seeing a colder wind come through here. And this is also leading towards very cold temperatures around for this area as well. This is where we have a center of our trough. Our jet stream is doing about like this. And this is leading towards very, very cold conditions for a lot of folks. Even here in Virginia, things are very cold, and things are even colder and snowier here across the north central United States. Again, very, very quiet out west. We're not going to focus in too much on that area. We do have plenty of snowfall here for states like Nebraska, South Dakota, North Dakota. There we have very light snowfall. Also some light to moderate snowfall happening for states in the upper Midwest like Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa. And then things get a little bit heavier here in these whites as we move to Wisconsin, Michigan, Illinois, and Indiana here. So we see these brighter whites popping up. This is going to be a lot heavier in this pocket as far as the snowfall is concerned. So if you are in this region, you're probably noting very heavy snowfall taking place. You can tell there's a lot of mixing going on across the southern extent of things, even down here through Pennsylvania, Maryland here, Ohio. We do see some mixing happening. And then we see counties in Pennsylvania seeing very, very heavy snowfall just north of Chambersburg, Somerset, Cumberland there in Maryland as well. This is a beautiful region of the United States if you haven't been there. Rolling hills, taking those highways through there is very interesting. I know there is a spot in Maryland as well where you cut through like a carving in the mountains. It's so cool. You have to experience it at least once. It might even be near Cumberland there, but it definitely is a very interesting place to go to, and I remember that fondly from my childhood. We can tell that the snowfall coming down for a lot of these areas in here, probably even the area I just mentioned, literally on that part of the highway, it's probably snowing here. But we have these bright whites and even blue indicating whiteout conditions around for these areas. Definitely some very, very heavy snowfall taking place for many folks here, and a lot of mixing happening if you're in lower elevation areas. We can tell that this whole storm system for the southeast is just going to roll in here. So we see just this moving along the jet stream here. Heavier in spots, more moderate to heavy in spots. Definitely going to lead towards impacts for all of these regions. And even later on, further north here in the northeast, all the way towards northern Maine as well. So all of the northeast is going to get some of this snowfall, especially in this corridor here, more mountainous and inland areas. It's going to be a possibility. Our coastal areas are going to miss out most likely, basically due to the water temperatures. You know, we're close to the ocean along the coast here, and it's only November, so our water temperatures in here are still too warm to support coastal areas seeing freezing temperatures for the most part. As obviously we reach into December, January, that's going to change as colder surface temperatures in those waters take place. Now, what we're going to do is move on and primarily focus in on the upcoming pattern, how all of this is going to progress and the impacts that this will lead to. And then again, we're going to take a look at November into December as well. Now here we are focusing in on everything here, and as you can see, we do see everything that was happening when we just took a look at the current conditions. As we keep going with this, we see heavier snowfall start to take place for Pennsylvania, New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts. But again, note the greens here closer to the coast and pinks. This is where those coastal regions just miss out because of the warmer waters. We do still have snow showers around for a lot of these areas, probably more persistent in here with this storminess that we end up seeing. This is going to be around overnight tonight into tomorrow, so maybe about 2 or 3 a.m. here. As we reach further into New England, we see heavier snowfall here for New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine there. That's for later on Wednesday morning, maybe about 10 or 11 a.m. here, Wednesday, November 16th. And then that does eventually move out by the time we're reaching Thursday morning. And that will leave behind many impacts. Now, we do see snowfall showers happening throughout the trough, so definitely can't rule out a passing snow shower for any of these areas I just circled in, considering the cold temperatures in place, especially Thursday morning. And by the time we reach into later on Friday the 18th, things will still be very, very cool. Still snow showers, even lake effect snowfall taking place here around kind of the upper Midwest through the Great Lakes, obviously, the Ohio Valley and Northeast as well in there. We're seeing that for Friday afternoon, and that still is going on by the time we're reaching Saturday into Sunday. Here we have a very interesting setup, a very deep trough in the east and a very steep ridge here building into the west. So this is a classic positive P&A pattern, which just means warmer temperatures out west out here for North America. That's all that positive P&A means, basically. Things do warm up, and we do see this trough lift off a little bit, where it's a little bit more exclusive for the northern regions by the time reaching Tuesday the 22nd. We do see a storm system moving through the northwest here. And then by Wednesday here, we do see a bit of a western trough and an eastern ridge here. So we see this happening, and this leads towards storminess for the central, especially south central United States here, as you can see. As we keep going with this leads towards a major snowstorm potentially here for New Mexico, Colorado, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, Wyoming, even into South Dakota there as well. Plenty of storminess around in general for a lot of the south central and southeastern United States here, Thursday into Friday the 25th. That is going to be Thanksgiving. And things, look, this is what ends up happening. We see our next Arctic blast building in here, and this is going to push the warm air out quickly. That's Saturday. And then Sunday here, the 27th, we see a major storm system moving along this trough, this jet stream right here, right as that cold air is moving in. And this does lead towards some interior snowfall around. And then the cold fully moves in here by Monday, the 28th, according to this model, with another positive P&A developing out here. So we see things redevelop. Cold air is shoving its way into the eastern United States again. Probably the most frigid air of the season as we reach into late November. And this gets even more dramatic as time moves on. We can see that there's a massive ridge up here. And look at how deep this trough is extending. We definitely see very cold air reaching far southward there and probably spreading eastward here as well. There's a little bit of a southeast ridge here, but this one is pretty suppressed to the very far southeast here. Only these areas would be feeling really any warmth from that. Everywhere else is managing to feel this trough still, and this will lead towards potentially more storminess along that jet stream, so we need to watch that very, very closely. Now, total precipitation through the next 15 days will look like this. Anywhere in the whites, we're expecting practically no precipitation. Your grays, about a tenth of an inch to or less, basically. Your greens, a tenth of an inch to half an inch. Your blues, half an inch to an inch. Your yellows, an inch to 2 inches. Reds, 2 to 5 inches there. And then your browns, 5 to 10 inches of precipitation. Tennessee, Kentucky seeing some of that. Maybe up in there where we're seeing some lake effect. So definitely some heavier precipitation pulling through here for a lot of folks. Definitely, we can tell most of the activity is going to stay in this region of the United States here. Now, for total snowfall through the next 15 days, anywhere in the grays, a dusting, if anything, so some flakes flying, basically. 2 to 6 inches of snowfall there in the blue areas. Purples, 6 to 10. Pinks, 10 to 20. Your pastel blues there, 20 to 38 inches of snowfall, approximately, maybe 40. And then your pastel pinks in there, like what we see for portions of Kansas, Nebraska, Colorado. Take it with a grain of salt, but this model does show 40 inches plus in those areas. Now, notice in the Northeast, like I mentioned, you have a pretty sharp cutoff where there's accumulating snowfall, and it happens to revolve around these coastal regions where these waters along there are just too warm for the freezing temperatures to reach the coast. So we see coastal regions missing out and more inland areas seeing potentially 2 to 6 inches plus for these areas. Now, for the temperature pattern, we're cold from coast to coast. Again, I mentioned this yesterday, but we've been talking about this for a couple of weeks now, and it sure is happening by this point. It's a pretty rare pattern, but we are seeing it. As time progresses, things get even colder. This is by Friday the 18th. We see even colder temperatures than before, still from coast to coast. So then Friday into Saturday gets even more cold. So we see a lot of these areas just frigid there in the greens and the blues within the greens, very far below normal temperatures. We get another Arctic blast around Monday, the 21st, bringing anywhere in the greens 10 to 15 degree below normal temperatures, and then anywhere within the blues within the green, they take on a more purplish shade there. That's going to be 15 to 25 degrees below normal. Surely a big, big, big departure from what's normal there. As time rolls on, we see things do warm up again, like I said, by Thanksgiving Day here on the 24th. That's going to be a Thursday. We see things warm up, but look what happens already by Friday. Things are cooling. Saturday, things are cooling. And certainly here by Sunday, we see that our next major Arctic blast is rolling through here. and into Monday, we do see that reach the East Coast. So again, cold for the eastern United States. And look out here, another positive PNA developing here. So again, the warm temperatures taking over the western portions of North America, and that forces all of the Arctic air to head into the eastern half of the nation. It's a very classic pattern, and we do see it taking place here on this model run, late on in the model run. And look, all the way through December 1st, we have this very, very cold air mass set up over the eastern United States. So maybe 1 to 2 days of above normal temperatures here for the eastern United States. And that's it over the next 15 days. So certainly a very, very, very cold pattern, as we've been predicting for weeks and weeks now. Accurately, this has turned out to be very true, and we do see the very cold pattern taking place just as predicted. Anyway, guys, that's it for this video. Be sure to subscribe for future updates on the upcoming pattern. We're going to be uploading every single day, just like always, hopefully through the rest of this year into next year and for hopefully years to come. So be sure to subscribe to get that in your subscription box, and even hit that bell icon for daily notifications when those videos do get released. Be sure to like the video if you did enjoy it, leave a comment down below, and I will see you guys in the next video.